everyone, and welcome to the GA Huddle. I'm Carl Friedman, the editor of Gaming America, and today I'm joined with Laila Mintas. She's the CEO of online sports betting and fantasy sports company PlayUp. Laila, welcome to the Huddle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Carl.
Absolutely. I just wanted to start by asking, how encouraged are you with the appetite increasing for sports betting in the U.S. As PlayUp expands into more states like Indiana, Iowa, and New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm very excited about that opportunity. So we are originally an Australian company. We are the largest fantasy provider when it comes to Australia. We also offer sports betting and fixed odds horse racing, esports betting, and a lot of different interesting products that we don't see nowadays in the US. The US will become the largest legal sports betting market in the world. And if you really compare numbers, UK is the most advanced, most mature market in Europe. It's about not even $3 billion. The US is supposed to become a $40 to $60 billion market in a couple of years. So that pretty much shows the huge opportunity that we have in front of us. So I couldn't be more excited. And we secure market access while we speak. So we are up to today, we are live in Colorado. We secured New Jersey with sports betting and iGaming, and now Iowa and Indiana. Mm-hmm. But we have much more that we have just not disclosed yet.
Yeah, okay. And how do you're an Australian company, so how do you differentiate the Australian and New Zealand and US markets in terms of consumer habits and trends? How much of one market template can you use for another, or is each one unique?
I mean, every market is so unique because of the regulation. So Australia is a very highly regulated market, but certain things are just different than in the US. So we cannot copy and paste what we have done in Australia, but we for sure use the learnings and experience having worked in a very regulated market, just like the US for a long time, having our own risk and trading team in-house, which does US sports to a big percentage. So that's what I always find very exciting, very interesting, is that Australians love US sports. So our risk and trading team in-house is used to do risk and trading for US sports for a long time, and that learning will help in the US for sure. And then part of our strategy also as a differentiator is really to come in the market with the best odds, the best pricing. You can only do that if you have your own risk and trading team in-house.
Yeah, right. And also just speaking about how things have been going in the past year with lockdowns and people having to adjust quite a lot to their business model. But what role has the pandemic played in forcing lawmakers to explore difficult regulatory options to help stimulate economies back to where they were and get state budgets kind of rolling again? How involved in those discussions are you?
We were speaking to a lot of regulators in the US, and I have always been very close to them through my previous position with Sportradar. So we really established a relationship very early on with regulators and explained not only to regulators but to everybody else in the US also how sports betting is regulated outside of the US and what the best learnings are from our perspective. And since then I've been like in close contact with them, and they some pick my brain from time to time. Mm-hmm. Especially now when it comes to fixed odds horse racing, there are a lot of conversations that we are involved because we have that Australian experience where fixed odds horse racing is a big percentage of our revenues and of our business. And now seeing that become legalized in the US step by step is a great movement. But then also on sports betting, I mean, before sports betting got legalized, most of the people in the US didn't really know what it is and how it works overseas. So using that experience and applying that to the US, not copying and pasting what's out there, but using that experience and leveraging that makes a lot of sense from my perspective.
Yeah. And just looking back on your career a little bit, can you tell us about a pivotal experience in your career that you can draw a direct line from where you are today?
That's a very tough question. So it's been a long journey. I think I always kind of like, I'm kidding when I'm saying that, but I made the mistake to write my PhD about sports betting via the internet. So I'm a lawyer by trade. So I did some serious job before getting into the sports betting space. Mm-hmm. And I wrote my PhD about sports betting via the internet back in Europe, back in Germany, a long time ago. And that really was that moment that decision that brought me into where I'm here today, because from there on I was hired by FIFA to run their sports integrity unit, because they read my book that's published in Europe, and then basically hired me because of that. And then from there I moved on to work for CONCACAF, doing the same, basically looking into data and how we can prevent manipulations in the games based on the data profiles, etc. And then from there on, I moved on to work for Sportradar, where I was leading the US market, and that really brought me deeper into the sports betting space. And after Sportradar, I basically joined PlayUp, did a few other things in the market, like investing into BetWorks, which is a betting platform, sold last year to Bally's, and a few other investments in startups across the industry. But overall, focusing now on PlayUp to get that to become really an important, significant player in the US market.
Mm-hmm. So where you are now, in terms of leadership, how important is it, do you think, is it to really lead by example, especially considering the extremes we've experienced over the last year?
So externally, I would say it's very important as an operator to lead by example when it comes to responsible gaming, but also when it comes to set the standard basically in the space. So we are very innovative. I need to give credit to the Australian leadership team that basically became or created the first fantasy platform where you actually have to pay, so real money, fantasy sports in Australia. And since then, they've been the market leader over there. They have always been very innovative when it comes to product development. And to give you one short example, is during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit and traditional sport got suspended, owning our own tech in Australia enabled us to build products within 2 weeks, not even, on the horse racing fantasy side, on esports, to have content, because as sport was suspended, we needed something to offer to our clients. And I think especially the team in Australia did a very good job in turning around very quickly and get the products out into the market. And since then, our revenues have increased, or have been increasing. So we had the best results ever since COVID. It's kind of like ironic to say that.
Yeah.
We're online only. We really benefit from that online business and the shift to online rather than retail.
Right, and of course, it's also vital to have a very grounded team around you. Can you elaborate on that and how that works at PlayUp? And in terms of having that team around you to not only navigate through difficult periods, but also to recognize opportunities.
Yeah, I'm always saying a leader alone cannot win a war, so you need a team behind you, and I'm very proud of my US team that I have been able to put together step by step over the last year. And we have a lot of experienced and hungry employees that want to be on the forefront, that want to achieve something. And they're very active and very innovative. We want to revolutionize what's out there. We don't want to copy what's out there. We want to improve what you see from a user experience. There's a lot of improvement that still needs to happen in the US. It's still a very early market. I know people say we're 3 years in and they feel like everything is set in stone. I see that totally different. So think of the Blackberries and Nokias and where they all are today, right? So it's still a very early journey in the early market here in the US. So we want to play an important role over time, and I'm sure we get there.
Yeah, yeah. And just lastly, can you describe how the fan experience, particularly in the US, is evolving, and how you're investing to make sure that PlayUp is at the forefront of innovation and able to remain competitive in the market?
Yeah, our biggest advantage is that we're focusing on technology. So we see ourselves as a technology company, as a tech company that's in the sports betting and entertainment space. So we're focusing on sports betting and iGaming and horse racing here in the US. Esports betting is something that we've been offering from day one as well. And over the time, we will bring in fantasy as well. So we have a broad roadmap already. But I think the secret sauce is a user experience. And it's still a very fragmented one if you look across the other operators that are out there. So what we want to offer, for example, New Jersey, where we will be having sports betting soon and iGaming, and then also fixed odds horse racing, we want to come into the market with one single app that has also one wallet, so the user don't have to re-download apps when they're traveling into other states where we're live. They're just using the same app. They don't have to put their bank information again inside the app and all of that hassle. So it's really making that a more seamless and user-friendly experience. And I think that tech will be a great differentiator, apart from obviously having a great product out there.
Absolutely. Well, Laila, thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate it.
Thanks, Cara. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.